Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 3 we have been reading from, and we'll continue our reading from verse number 151 of the third chapter of Madhya Lila. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Caitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. एके एके मिलिला प्रभु सब भक्त गण सबार मुख देखी करे दृढ़ आलिंगन. The Lord met all the devotees one after the other, and looking at everyone's face individually, he embraced them tightly. Verse number 152. केशा न देखिया भक्त यद्यपि पाय दुख सौंदर्य देखिते तबु पाय महा सुख. Although the devotees were unhappy at not seeing the Lord's hair, they nonetheless derived great happiness from seeing his beauty. Verse number 153 to 155, they are all together. Shrivas Ramay Vidyanidhi Gadadhara Gangadas Vakreshwara Murari Shukalambara Buddhimanta Khan Nandana Sridhara Vijaya Vasudeva Damodara Mukunda Sanjaya Katanama Laiba Yata Navadvipa Vasi Sabare Milila Prabhu Kripa Drishtye Hasi. Shrivas Ramai Vidyanidhi Gadadhar Gangadas Vakreshwar Murari Shukalambara Buddhimanta Khan Nandan Sridhar Vijay Vasudev Damodar Mukunda Sanjay and all the others, however many I can mention. Indeed, all the inhabitants of Navadvip arrived there, and the Lord met them with smiles and glances of mercy. Verse number 156. Anande nachaye sabi bali hari 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 Ācārya mandir haila Shri Vaikuntapuri. Everyone was chanting the holy names of Hari and dancing. In this way, the domicile of Advaita Ācārya was converted into Shri Vaikuntapuri. Verse number 157. Yata loka aila Mahāprabhu ke dekhite Nana gram haite ar Navadvip haite. People came to see Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu from various other villages nearby as well as Navadvip. Verse 158. Sabha kare vas dila bhakshay annapan bahudin Ācārya gosani kaila samadhan. To everyone who came to see the Lord from villages nearby, especially from Navadvip, Advaita Ācārya gave residential quarters as well as all kinds of eatables for many days. Indeed, he properly adjusted everything. Verse number 159. Ācārya Gosanira Bhandara Akshay Avyaya Yata Dravya Vyaya Kare Tata Dravya Haya. The supplies of Advaita Ācārya were inexhaustible and indestructible. As many goods and commodities as he used, just as many grains appeared. Verse 160. Saidina haite shachi karena randhana bhakta gana lena prabhu karena bhojana. Randhana is cooking. In Bengali, from the day Shachi Mata arrived at the house of Advaita Ācārya, she took the charge of cooking, and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu dined in the company of all the devotees. Verse 161. Dine Ācāryera priti prabhura darshana ratre lok dekhe prabhura nartana kirtana. All the people who came there during the day saw Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu and the friendly behavior of Advaita Ācārya. At night, they had the opportunity to see the Lord's dancing and hear his chanting. Verse number 162. Kirtana karite prabhura sarva bhavodaya stambha kampa pulakashru gadgada pralaya. When the Lord performed kirtan, he manifested all kinds of transcendental symptoms. He appeared stunned and trembling. His hair stood on end and his voice faltered. There were tears and devastation. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Devastation is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a combination of happiness and distress that becomes conspicuous by an absence of any sense of them. In this condition, a devotee falls to the ground and the subsequent symptoms in the body ensue. These symptoms are mentioned above, and when they become prominent in the body, a state called pralaya or devastation is manifest. Verse 163, Kshane Kshane Pade Prabhu Ācārya Khana Dekhi Shachi Mata Kahe Rodana Kariya. Frequently the Lord would tumble to the ground. Seeing this, Mother Shachi would cry. Verse 164, Churna Haila Hena Vason Nimani Kalevara Ha Ha Kari Vishnu Pashe Mage Ei Vara. Vara is benediction, as it is in Hindi as well. Translation, Srimati Shachimata thought that the body of Nimai was being smashed when he fell down, so she cried alas and petitioned Lord Vishnu. Verse 165, Bale kala haite tumara ye kailun sevana tara ei phala mora deha narayana. My dear Lord, kindly bestow this benediction as a result of whatever service I have rendered unto you from my childhood. Verse 166, Ye kale nimani pade dharani upare vyatha yena nahi lage nimani sharire. Whenever Nimai falls to the surface of the earth, please do not let him feel any pain. Verse 167, E mata Shachi Devi vatsalya vihvala harsha bhaye dainya bhave haila vikala. When Mother Shachi was thus overwhelmed in maternal love for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, she became transformed with happiness, fear and humility, as well as bodily symptoms. Purport. These verses indicate that Mother Shachi, born in the family of Nilambar Chakravarti, used to worship Lord Vishnu even before her marriage, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 6.41. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvatih samaha Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Abhijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Mother Shachi, a Nitya Siddha living entity, is an incarnation of Mother Yashoda. She appeared in the house of Nilambar Chakravarti and was everlastingly engaged in the service of Lord Vishnu. Later, she directly had as her child Lord Vishnu, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and she served him from the day of his appearance. This is the position of Nitya Siddha associate Sri Natarottam Das Thakur. Therefore sings Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kari Mane. Every devotee should know that all the associates of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, his family members, friends and other associates were all Nitya Siddhas. A Nitya Siddha never forgets the service of the Lord. He is always engaged, even from childhood, in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 168, Shivasadi yata prabhura vipra bhakta gana prabhu ke bhiksha dite haila sabakar mana. Since Advaita Ācārya was giving alms and food to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the other devotees headed by Srivas Thakur also desired to give him alms and invited him for lunch. Purport. It is the duty of all the grihasthas to invite a sannyasi to their homes if he happens to be in the neighborhood or village. This very system is still current in India. If a sannyasi is in the neighborhood of a village, he is invited by all householders one after another. As long as the sannyasi remains in the village, he enlightens the inhabitants in spiritual understanding. In other words, a sannyasi has no housing or food problems even when he travels extensively. Even though Advaita Ācārya was supplying Caitanya Mahaprabhu with prasadam, the other devotees from Navadvip and Shantipur also desired to offer him prasadam. Verse 169, Shuni Shachi Sabakare Karila Minati Nima Nira Darshana Ara Muni Pab Kati. Hearing these proposals made by the devotees of the Lord, Mother Shachi said to the devotees, how many times shall I get the chance to see Nimai again? Verse 170, Tuma sabe sane habe anyatra milana muni abhang ginira matra ei darshana. Shachi Mata submitted, as far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu many times somewhere else, but what is the possibility of my ever meeting him again? I shall have to remain at home A sannyasi never returns to his home. Verse 171. Yavat Ācārya grihe nimanir avasthana muni bhiksha dimu sabakare magon dana. Mother Shachi appealed to all the devotees to give her this clarity. As long as Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu remained at the house of Advaita Ācārya, only she would supply him food. Verse 172. Shuni bhakta gana kahe kari namaskar matar ye ichha sai samatta sabara. Hearing this appeal from Mother Shachi, all the devotees offered obeisances and said, we all agree to whatever Mother Shachi desires. Verse 173. Matara vyagrata dekhi prabhura vyagramana bhakta gana ekatra kari balila vachana. When Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. Verse 174. Tuma sabar agya vina chalilam vrindavan yaite narila vigna kaila nivartana. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu informed them, without your order I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however I had to return. Verse 175. Yadyapi sahasa ami kariyachi sannyasa tathapi toma sabha haite nahiba udas. My dear friends, although I have suddenly accepted the renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. Verse 176. Toma sabha na chadiba yavad ami jiba matare tavad ami chadite nariba. My dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. Verse 177. Sannyasira dharma nahe sannyasa karina nij janma sthane rahe kutumba lena. After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of sannyasi to remain at his birthplace encircled by relatives. Verse 178. Keha yena ei bali na kare nindana se yukti kaha yate rahe dui dharma. Make some arrangements so that I may not leave you. At the same time, people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas. Verse 179. Shunya prabhura e madhur vachana shachi pasha Ācārya adi karila gamana. After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statement, all the devotees headed by Advaita Ācārya approached Mother Shachi. Verse 180. Prabhura nivedana tanre sakala kahila shuni shachi jagan mata kahite lagila. When they submitted Lord Chaitanya's statement, Mother Shachi, who is the mother of the universe, began to speak. 181. Teno yadi ihan rahe tabe mora sukha tanra ninda hai yadi seha mora dukha. Shachi Mata said, it will be a great happiness for me if Nimai Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu stays here, but at the same time, if someone blames him, it will be my great unhappiness. Purport. It is a great happiness for a mother if her son does not leave home to search out Krishna but remains with her. At the same time, if a son does not search after Krishna but simply remains at home, he is certainly blamed by experienced saintly persons. Such blame certainly causes great unhappiness for a mother. If a real mother wants her son to progress spiritually, she had better allow him to go out searching for Krishna. The mother naturally desires the welfare of the son. If a mother does not allow her son to search for Krishna, she is called a Ma, which indicates Maya. But allowing her son to go as a sannyasi and search for Krishna, Shachi Mata instructs all the mothers of the world. She indicates that all sons should become real devotees of Krishna and should not stay at home under the care of an affectionate mother. This is supported by Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 5th chapter, verse 18. Guru nasa syat swajano nasa syat pita na sa syaj janani na sa syat devam na tatsyan na patish cha sasyan na mochayed yah samupeta mrityum. No one should become a spiritual master nor a relative, father, mother, worshipable deity or husband if he cannot help a person escape the imminent path of death. Every living entity is wandering within the universe, subjected to the law of karma and transmigrating from one body to another and from one planet to another. Therefore, the whole Vedic process is meant to save the wandering living entities from the clutches of Maya, birth, death, disease, and old age. This means stopping the cycle of birth and death. This cycle can be stopped only if one worships Krishna, as the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvatah tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mam eti. So, Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body takes his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. To stop the cycle of birth and death, one has to understand Krishna as he is. Simply by knowing Krishna, one can stop the process of rebirth into this material world. By acting in Krishna consciousness, one can return to Godhead. The highest perfection of life is for a father, mother, spiritual master, husband, or any other family member to help others return home back to Godhead. That is the most preferred welfare activity for the benefit of relatives. Therefore, Shachi Mata, although the mother of Nimai Pandit, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, considered all the facts and decided to allow her son to go out and search for Krishna. At the same time, she made some arrangements in order that she might get news of all the activities of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Verse 182, Tate e yukti bhal mora mane laya lila chale rahe yadi dui karya haya. Mother Shachi said, this consideration is good in my opinion. If Nimai remains at Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us and at the same time can remain aloof as sannyasi, thus both purposes are filled. Verse 183, Nilachale Navadvipe Yena Dui Ghara Loka Gata Gati Varta Pab Nirantara. Since Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are intimately related, as if there were two rooms in the same house, people from Navadvip generally go to Jagannath Puri and those in Jagannath Puri go to Navadvip. This going and coming will help carry news of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, I will be able to get news of him. Verse 184, Tumi sabha karite par gamana gamana Ganga snane kabhu habe tanra agamana. All you devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he may also come to take his bath in the Ganges. Verse 185, Apnara dukha sukha taha nahi gani tanra ye sukha taha nija sukha mani. I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. Verse 186, Shuni bhakta gana tanre karila stavana veda ajna yaiche mata tomar vachana. After hearing Shachi Mata, all the devotees offered up prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, could not be violated. Verse 187, Bhakta Gana Prabhu Age Asiya Kahila Shuniya Prabhura Mane Ananda Haila. All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Shachi Mata's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. Verse 188, Navadvipa Vasi Adi Yata Bhakta Gana Sabare Samman Kari Balila Vachana. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu offered respects to all the devotees present from Navadvip and other towns, speaking to them as follows. Verse 189, Tumi Saba Loka Mora Param Bandhava E Bhiksha Magon Mora Deha Tumi Saba. My dear friends, you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. Verse 190, Ghare Yana Kara Sada Krishna Sankirtana Krishna Nama Krishna Katha Krishna Aradhana. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them all to return home and begin chanting the holy name congregationally. He also requested them to worship Krishna, chant his holy name and discuss his holy pastimes. Purport: the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, is very nicely explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Authoritatively, it is not that everyone has to take sannyas like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone can execute the cult of Sri Krishna consciousness at home as ordered by the Lord. Everyone can congregationally chant the holy name of the Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One can also discuss the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and install deities of Radha Krishna or Gaura Nitai or both, and worship them very carefully in one's home. It is not that we have to open different centers all over the world. Whoever cares for the Krishna consciousness movement can install deities at home and under the superior guidance worship the deity regularly, chanting the Mahamantra and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We are actually teaching in our classes how to go about this. One who feels that he is not yet ready to live in a temple or undergo strict regulative principles in the temple, especially householders who live with a wife and children, can start a center at home by installing a deity, worshipping the Lord morning and evening, chanting Hare Krishna and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone can do this at home without difficulty, and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu requested all the devotees present there to do so. Verse 191, Ajna deha nilachale kariye gamana madhye madhye asi tomaya diba darshana. After thus instructing the devotees, Lord asked their permission to go to Jagannath Puri. He assured them that at intervals he would come there and meet them again and again. Verse 193, Sabha vidaya diya prabhu chalite kaila mana Haridas kandi kahe karuna vachana. After requesting all the devotees to return, the Lord decided to go to Jagannath Puri. At that time, Haridas Thakur began to cry. Kandi is crying and speak some pathetic words. Verse 194, Nilachale yabe tumi mora kon gati, Nilachale yaite mora nahika shakti. Haridas Thakur said, you are going to Jagannath Puri and all that is all right, but what will be my destination? I am not able to go to Jagannath Puri. But although Srila Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, he was accepted as a properly initiated Brahman. As such, he had every right to enter the temple of Jagannath Puri, but because there were some rules and regulations stipulating that only Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, members of the Vairashram Dharma system, could enter, Haridas Thakur, out of his great humility, he did not want to violate these existing rules. He therefore said that he did not have the strength to enter into the temple, and he pointed out that if Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu lived within the temple, there would be no way for Haridas to see him. Later, when Haridas Thakur went to Jagannath Puri, he lived outside the temple at a place called Siddha Bakula. A monastery has now been erected there known as Siddha Bakula Matha. People who visit Jagannath Puri often go to see Siddha Bakula and tomb of Haridas Thakur. Verse 195, Muni adhama tumar na pava darshana kiamate dhariba e papishta jivana. Because I am the lowest among men, I shall not be able to see you. How shall I maintain my sinful life? Verse 196, Prabhu kahe kara tumi dainya samvarana tumare dainyate mora vyakula hayamana. The Lord replied to Haridas Thakur, please check your humility. Just the sight of your humility very much agitates my mind. Verse 197, Tuma lagi Jagannathe kariba nivedana tuma lena yab ame Shri Purushottama. Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu assured Haridas Thakur that he would place a petition before Lord Jagannath and that he would certainly take him there to Jagannath Puri. Verse 198, Tabe ta Ācārya kahe vinaya karine dina dui chari pahe chari raha chari raha kripata karina. After that, Advaita Ācārya respectfully requested Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu to show him mercy by remaining another 2 to 4 days. Verse 199, Ācārya vakya prabhu na kare langhana rahila Advaita grihe na kaila gamana. Caitanya Mahāprabhu never violated the request of Sri Advaita Ācārya, therefore he remained at his home and did not leave immediately for Jagannath Puri. Verse number 200, Anandita Haila Ācārya Shachi Bhakta Sabha Prati Dina Kara Ācārya Mula Sadhu Mula Okay. Anandita, verse number 200. Ananta Haila Ācārya Shachi Bhakta Sabha Pratidina Kare Ācārya Mahāmahotsav. Lord Chaitanya's decision was received very happily by Advaita Ācārya. Mother Shachi and all the devotees, Advaita Ācārya celebrated every day with a great festival. Verse 201. Dine Krishna Katha Ras Bhakta Gana Sange Ratre Mahamahotsav Sankirtana Range. During the day, the devotees discussed subject matters concerning Krishna, and at night there was a great festival of congregational chanting at the house of Advaita Ācārya. Verse 202. Ananta Hena Shachi Karena Randhana Sukhe Bhojana Kare Prabhu Lena Bhaktagana. Mother Shachi cooked with great pleasure, and Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu along with the devotees accepted the prasadam with great pleasure. So we will continue our reading from verse 203 onwards from the 3rd chapter of the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you for watching. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Wish you all very happy Navratri, those of you who are observing. And we have Ram Navami festival coming on Thursday here in Europe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Have a blessed week ahead. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.